And away we go in Australia for the start of the 2015 season. Vettel's first start with Ferrari then has not got off to a good one. Very aggressive with the young rookie there. One of the Mercedes is in trouble. What drama then has seen Ricciardo and Vettel now into the podium places. Alright everyone, and welcome back to Vettel Career. In the previous race we travelled through time about 8 years and found ourselves in 2015 where Vettel is now a Ferrari driver, and he started off his career with the Scuderia with a third place finish in Australia then, so it was a good start for him. Now heading to the Malaysian Grand Prix where he'll be hoping to go a little bit better and maybe even take his first win of his Ferrari tenure then. So yeah, without any further ado, let's look at the main highlights then from qualifying. Saturday's qualifying took part in the familiar rain of Malaysia, although a bit lighter than usual. The weather did not dampen Mercedes' day as they once again locked out the front row of the grid with Hamilton ahead of Rosberg. Just like in 2014, the Silver Arrows looked like the team to beat in all conditions. Kimi Raikkonen once again established himself as best of the rest behind the Mercedes, performing excellently in the conditions. He lines at third, just 3/10 of a second slower than Rosberg in qualifying. For the second race in a row, Sebastian Vettel was left frustrated at a lack of pace as he could only manage 7th. Williams struggled in the wet in 2014, but it looks like the British team have worked on that area over the winter. Valtteri Bottas lines up alongside his fellow Finn on the second row, while Felipe Massa is less than a tenth behind in 5th. The team ruled a lot of missed opportunities last season, so the performance is certainly a confidence boost. Daniel Ricciardo was a hero at his home race in Melbourne where he scored an unlikely podium. This weekend he'll need a lot of luck to repeat that on Sunday. He managed 6th in qualifying, but thanks to a gearbox penalty drops all the way down to 16th. On the other side of the garage, Daniel Kvyat once again finds himself mired in the midfield as he could only manage 13th in the sister car. McLaren and Honda were delighted to have both cars come home and in the points last time out in Australia, and the signs continue to look positive. Jenson Button managed 12th in his MP430, which will become 11th after Ricciardo's penalty. A mistake on Fernando Alonso's ass up may well have cost him a better position as he is 15th and less than 4/10 slower than his teammate. So it's once again a Mercedes lockout of the front row, with Hamilton ahead of Rosberg. Raikkonen leads an all-finished second row, and it's Williams and Ferrari again on row 3 as Vettel moves up thanks to Ricciardo's penalty. Max Verstappen and Felipe Nasr started both of their Grand Prix so far inside the top 10. Button will be delighted with a 6th row start, with Danny Kvyat the first of the Red Bulls alongside. Sainz and Perez lining up ahead of Alonso and the demoted Ricciardo, with Maldonado and Ericsson nowhere near their teammates. Stevens and Murray ran out the grid again in their manners.
Good afternoon and welcome from Sepang, where the cars and drivers are getting ready to start the Malaysia Grand Prix. We knew this was a track that suited the Mercedes well, but no one would have expected that Lewis Hamilton would have created such a gap to his rivals in qualifying. If he stays out of trouble and the car continues to perform, well, victory should surely be a formality.
He'll want to end this weekend on a high after yesterday's fantastic performance, but he's going to have a lot of competition. I doubt he'll be expecting an easy race, especially considering the teams around him.
Kimi Raikkonen has been outperforming his fellow world champion teammate throughout this weekend, so he'll hope to continue doing so through the race this afternoon.
The first person any Formula 1 driver wants to beat is his teammate, and never has that been truer than at Ferrari, where we've seen a sizzling intra-team rivalry between two ex-world champions.
So here we are then on the grid. Now as you can see, from as it was in qualifying, we're once again light rain then. As you can see, it's going to be a 2-stop race once again then, with 2 changes for the intermediate tyres, and the wear's not that great on them, so yeah, we'll have to pit. The lights are coming on now then, and away we go then for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And Vettel then from 6th, and he's not got the best of start then. He's getting big snap oversteer. He's on the grass in fact there, and Verstappen, Grosjean and Hulkenberg were all past him then. So they run down towards turn 1 and Vettel locks up his brakes. He bumped Grosjean a little bit. He's going to try and go on the outside and get the inside of turn 2, but he's been hit from behind, and looks like Sainz there is actually spinning back round again. Looked like it was Felipe Nasr who may have been the one who tapped him round there, but Vettel down to 11th place and not really needed then. So heading around 10-3, a little bit of contact with the Toro Rosso there, and in fact he passed Sainz pretty easily then. and he should make quick and easy work then of Jenson Button in the McLaren then, and at the inside of him he goes into turn 4, he's up into 9th place then, and yeah, really not the start that Vettel needed then, and once again he finds himself in 9th place then behind Romain Grosjean in the Lotus, which he'll be sick of the sight of after the previous race in Australia. Of course it really hampered his early part of his race being stuck behind Grosjean on that day, and it seems that almost an exact repeat of that is happening here today then. He dropped to 11th and now having to fight his way back through then. He's in 9th place at this stage then. You can see a little bit of a gap already forming there. See Raikkonen's dropped down to 5th place then, so neither Ferrari having a great start then. But yeah, a bit of a gap back then to Hülkenberg, who seems to be making a little bit of a train early on here then on his first lap, with Verstappen and Grosjean and also Vettel behind him then. And Vettel in fact with a very good run here through that fast chicane and onto brakes and into the penultimate corner. It looks like he's slipped his way at the inside, and yeah, he's through and into 8th place then, so yeah, not too bad of a it could have been a lot worse than well, I'd say that. Well, I wouldn't say it was a good start, but I mean, if you ignore the first couple of corners, maybe it was. You see a replay of the start there, and Vettel just all over the place and off the line, right onto the grass there. Then you see Hamilton blocking Rosberg at the start then, and Raikkonen getting swamped by the two Williams. And in fact, Rosberg came to attack from the Williams as well there, I think. As you see Vettel going around the outside, and it looked like NASA just understeered into him then. He was sort of in the middle with the McLaren on the inside as well then. We'll see an on board then from Felipe Nasr in a second then, and yeah, here we go then. You see Vettel trying to curve back onto the track there then. And you see Nasr did get a decent run on him there actually, but Vettel sort of covered the outside line there. So Nasr sort of went to the middle of the track as he had the McLaren on his inside, and yeah, Nasr a bit of a rookie mistake there, only his second Grand Prix of course, and just sort of understeered into Vettel. Obviously not easy for a rookie to be having only their second race in these kind of conditions. We see on board then from Maldonado, who's having a pretty good start there, going at the inside of a couple of cars there. He's on the inside line then, and yeah, you see instant up ahead of him, and then just Nasr spins right into the path of him, causes carnage behind. And for once, Maldonado the instant party there. That's what you see later in the lap. Vettel there passing Grosjean for 8th place then, the other Lotus there being overtaken there. And yeah, we're now going to skip then to lap 3, where Hülkenberg is still creating a little bit of a train here then in 6th place. He's got Verstappen right behind him in the Toro Rosso, and Vettel there in 8th place. He really needs to not be getting held up by any of these trains this weekend, because as I said before, it did sort of happen to him a little bit in the early stages of the Australian Grand Prix, and he's looking to the inside of Verstappen, and he's going to try and do exactly what he did to Romain Grosjean then, and he does in fact do the same overtake on him then. Up into 7th place he goes past Max Verstappen, and yeah, we'll see in the replay of it, and you can see it was pretty much a carbon copy of what he did to Grosjean a couple of laps before then, and there he goes up into 7th place, and he'll be looking to get past Hülkenberg as quickly as possible. But as we skip to lap 9, you can see that that hasn't happened then, and Hülkenberg actually did find a bit of pace, and Vettel just didn't seem to really have enough to keep up with him then, but he did have enough to certainly stay a fair way behind, well, to keep a good gap to Verstappen behind, that is, as we now skip to, well no, we don't skip, we actually now onto his pit in lap then, as it was a 2-stop race then, and in he comes, and it will be another set of intermediate tyres then, because track is still pretty much as it was at the start of the race. See Hülkenberg's in front of him as well there. See Kimi's up in there as well, as is Bottas then, who was should have already been fairly way up ahead, I would have thought by now, as Ferrari a little bit slow then. They were already had Raikkonen in then, and they maybe were a little bit late with Vettel's tyres there then. And you can see Bottas has lost a lot of ground then, as Vettel has actually passed Hülkenberg and all this. Is really a game of luck then with all those cars in the pits, and certainly most of the field came in on that lap, and it really is a case of luck then with who can get released into a good gap there. But Bottas has lost out big time then. He was battling with Massa and Raikkonen, I believe, and now he's right in this battle here with Vettel. And can Vettel try and pass me? No, he can't, because he's had a big snap of oversteer then at turn 3. His tyres are still cold, and yeah, that has really blown his chances of getting past Bottas then. And now Button, who's made a lot of progress in that pit stop, is right behind him as Vettel locks up both his front tyres then. But luckily the straight line speed of that Honda engine is still pretty dire, so Button is getting nowhere near him then. And it was a rather lonely middle stint then for Vettel after that, as we skip all the way to lap 18 when nothing happening for him. And track was actually getting a fair bit drier, as you can see from here. The rain is still falling a little bit, and we got Bottas and Massa, I believe, in the pits on this lap then, Vettel in on the next lap. But yeah, Vettel up into 4th place for now then at least, but yeah, probably won't last for too long then for him. And round the first couple of corners he comes in, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how much the track changes then over the next lap or so, or if he will have to come in for a dry tyres then. As he comes in, and Vettel then was certainly looking to go on to another set of intermediates here then. This was when he was scheduled to pit for his second stop for intermediates then, as we see the Ferrari mechanics then coming out, and actually so the Williams mechanics once again there then. So into the pits comes Vettel then for his stop, and what we saw there, it's actually, yes, the medium tyres getting ready for him then, and he's been held then. You can see that McLaren was just coming in front of him, and that held him up, and well, Massa had actually had to come in again because of his tyre change, and yeah, it looked like Vettel maybe had got the advantage on him there, but no. With that slow pit stop, once again, it's a case of luck really with getting a gap in the traffic, but yeah, Button coming in really stopped Vettel from getting out of the pits then, and now Massa is back ahead of him then, and saw Williams got let off the hook a little bit there then, as Vettel is now going to try and pass Massa back then, but not make the same mistake he did when he came out the pits the last time. And yeah, he's right in behind him then as they head up towards turn 4, and Verstappen's right behind him now as well then. So yeah, it's all suddenly starting to turn to a bit of a race then with only 9 laps to go. And Vettel following in Massa then through turns 5 and 6. The Williams doesn't look particularly quick here then. And round 10-6, and Vettel cuts underneath him, and yeah, he's through them. We don't usually see overtakes there then, but Vettel is through and into 5th place for now. And I'm not sure what happened with Bottas, and I guess they did put him onto the dry tyres straight away then. But yeah, he certainly managed to get himself a fair bit ahead then, as Massa's now under attack. DRS of course now unable with the track dry enough, and that Mercedes engine then is still by far, well not by far, but still the best engine out there. And Massa's back through into 5th place, and Vettel will have DRS, but he did a little bit of a slide there out of the final corner, but you wouldn't have thought that would affect him too much, but just a straight line speed of that Williams, and Massa is gone already then, and well, Vettel just had no response to him there then, even with DRS, but he does have enough speed at least to keep Verstappen behind in the Toro Rosso. So yeah, he's in 6th place then for now, and getting a little bit of a slide out of turn 2 there, still a fair bit of water being kicked up, but unfortunately once again not much happening after that. Is rather sort of lonely stints in this race to Vettel really, and yeah, he managed to pull out a gap to Verstappen, but just the Williams were too fast for him today, and yeah, I imagine he'll be a little bit disappointed with this result, as it's only 6th place for him then, and obviously he was on the podium last time out in Australia, and yeah, he just hasn't really looked like he's been as comfortable as Raikkonen this weekend, as he comes across the line then, and it's going to be 6th place then in Malaysia, as he just about lapping that manner there at the end. And Vettel getting out of the car then in Parc Ferme, and yeah, he doesn't look overly pleased with that one, and well, it's not really a surprise really, because he'd been hoping for a lot better than 6th day. The car was certainly capable of better, and you can see there he was nearly 50 seconds behind his teammate Kimi Raikkonen there, so yeah, it really wasn't a good weekend for him at all. He was out qualified by him, and yeah, just a long way behind in the race. But Lewis Hamilton will be delighted then. That's 2 wins out of 2 for him. He brings him ahead of teammate Nico Rosberg, who gets his first podium of the season, as Kimi Raikkonen in 3rd. There's the 2 Williams in 4th and 5th, with Verstappen there up in 7th, and Button once again getting points from McLaren then. Hulkenberg and Grosjean are the last 2 point scorers then. Alonso and Sainz are 2 Spaniards there, 11th and 12th. And dismal day for the Red Bull team then, with both cars failing to finish, and yeah, neither of them started in the top 10, so it's always looking like it'll be difficult for them this weekend. As we see a driver's standings then, Lewis Hamilton with a perfect 50 so far, and it's quite close still for 2nd, certainly down to 7th I'd say, with Bottas there, and yeah, all very close there, only 14 points separating them still, as Rosberg and Raikkonen both moved up this weekend. Further down we see Bottas and Verstappen there moving up, and still a fair few cars still to score points then, as Mercedes have a 28 point lead already over Ferrari then, with Williams up to 3rd then ahead of Red Bull, and McLaren and Toro Rosso both gaining places then over Lotus this weekend, with Sauber and Marussia still yet to score points then. So that is it then for this race. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, and as always I appreciate any feedback you may have in the comments, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Goodbye.